Welcome everybody to this spirit lesson on the check. So to start off, what is a check? When do you need it? Why do you need it? So sometimes in Ultimate, the play is stopped by a call, for example, like a foul call, and players are not allowed to move. In that case, the check is the moment where players are allowed to move again. So there's only three cases for the check. Remember those. So if the disc is on the ground, it's the closest defender that needs to say disc in. Case number two, if the thrower has the discs in their hands and the defender is close enough to touch it, well, the check is that the defender touches the disc. Third case, if the thrower has the disc in their hands and that no defender is close enough, so they're all too far away, well, the thrower just touches the ground with the disc. And that's it for your lesson. Now, if you want some quiz questions, I'll start with question number one. So, in a normal case after a pull and then someone calls a brick, do you need to do a check when they arrive at the brick? The answer is no. Everyone is already allowed to move if nothing special happens, so there is no need to check. And actually, tapping the disc as a defender, tapping the disc would be a violation because you created a minor contact. So, same question. And question number two is if you are, for example, after a normal turnover, after a throwaway in the end zone, and so you're now walking back to the pivot point on the goal line, do you need to check? The answer is no, you do not need to check because if nothing special happened, people are allowed to move. Question number three, after a stall out, how do you do the check? The misconception that sometimes happens is that the mark who just managed to get a stall out will take the discs in their hands, and then the person who just got stalled out needs to touch the disc with their hands. Actually, in this case, after a stall out, anybody is allowed to take the disc, so you just leave the disc on the ground, and then the normal rule applies, so the closest defender says disc in, and that person is the person who just got stalled out. Fourth question, after an injury, how do you do the check? Well, the misconception that we hear a lot is that the replacement player needs to do the check by saying disc in or touching the ground or something. This is not the general case. No, you just use the three cases that we have seen in general, and this is how you do the check. So if the disc is on the ground, the closest defender says disc in. If it's in the thrower's hands, the closest defender touches it, or the person touches the ground with the disc. All right. Now for some extra rule details. So all the things that stop a play and that you then need to check are written in Rule 10.1, and these are fouls, violations, contested turnovers, specified turnovers, contested goals, stoppage, discussion, and after a timeout. Next detail is a misconception that there is sometimes. It's that so when the disc is on the ground, the closest defender needs to tap the ground. Although that is a very nice visual cue and I encourage you to do it, you don't need to touch the ground, you just need to say disc in. And final tip, if you want to tie your shoelaces, you're not allowed to stop a play to tie your shoelaces, but if the play is stopped and we are waiting for a check, you are allowed to call equipment to tie your shoelaces, even if that delays the check by a little bit. And that's it for today's lesson. Thank you for listening.